Good morning, class 10. How are you guys doing? And how are you enjoying the morning today's weather, Friday weather, 21st of August? That's around about 6 days after independence. Uh, so, how is it doing? We had been to the school, I had been, Shati sir was there, and Kunal sir, Amrita ma'am, and some people were there also. The two aunties were there, and Vijay Bhai was there, and I was missing Narayanji a lot. Uh, and I missed him. I seriously, honestly missed him a lot, and it was, that place when you expect that you're going to call for him. He was always there. And Anji, I need this. Oh, he'll run around and come back, and that smile on his face. After you say thank you, and he says thank you back. So those are the memories I have collected, staying with you guys and being with you guys, and I've learned a lot also. Every day is an experience for me. I have been around the world and seen a lot of people, and you are also new to me, and I have come to know you. It's past 1 year now. So that loss, why we think about loss? The school has faced a loss of a person, of a staff, or a worker, or a part of the family. At Hartford, we are not workers, we are family. And working atmosphere, working climate makes that. That's all because of our boss, Mr. Chauhan, respected Mr. R.S. Chauhan. He has created that environment, right? Family environment. But it's got its rules, and I love Hartford's rules. The system is marvelous. Quite of that, it reminds me of my forces life when I was there. Everything is there, but it's all within bounds. You have to do it within that. That is the perfect time to do everything. Very nice. I like it. So, but we have faced a loss. A person has gone away. A death of a person is quite important than losing one of my favorite things. That is also very important. You can compare it with a human being loss, which you care very much. We cannot get back Narayanji, right? That same thing we cannot get back. It's not available in the market. But there are many things available in the market instantly. We can afford it. But we'll not get that same thing. Right. So how do we face loss? So I'll just come back to that. Again, I'll say hi all to all of you. I crossed the path. I should have told you before. This is all about your poem, The Ball. It's a very small thing, a ball. It's a very normal thing available everywhere, and a small child. So this poem has been compared with life's losses. How do we face a loss? For the thing we mostly care, for the thing we mostly like, love, we have affection, we lose that. And some people go ahead, some people go into grief, some people go mad, some people go into depression. But losing something and taking that memory ahead with you, it's not digging into the past. You don't have to dig into it, you have to go on with it. Keeping it in your mind, in the back of your head, not in front of your head. If you keep on keeping it in front of your head, you will be in problem. You will be always thinking about that. You have to keep it there. That is going to give you the pushing forward to go ahead. And I guess I am the actual person to talk about loss, which cannot be retrieved or restored from the recycle bin. It cannot be recycled also, the losses which I have faced. But it's going on. I am here, I am there with you. So they are in my mind, in the back of my mind. I cannot forget about those losses. Right? So I guess I am very Again, like your walk to Nelson Mandela and this poem, The Ball, I'm feeling very uh, peaceful at mind that I'm able to explain loss. I guess the person who faces something knows about it. If you have never fallen off from a cycle, you will not know what is falling off from a cycle, and you won't know how to save yourself when you really fall down from a cycle. But if you have fallen, you will know what are the consequences, how to save yourself, how to save your face, and all whatever. When someone hits or someone, we always try to save our face first, isn't it? That's the reflex which happens. So a person which who goes through that only knows. A bald person is walking and a coconut falls. He will only know that walking under the coconut tree is not good. He will go off it. He knows the way. What loss did he have? He cracked his nut. One coconut fell and cracked the human nut also. His head cracked. That's also a loss. Loss, anything of what to care and goes away from your hand is loss. So we'll talk about this person, your poet, uh, John Berryman. Awesome. He's written about. I've never read about him, but I'm reading it right now. To be very honest, because the way I explain, I may not be explaining it the way you want it to be, because I don't hit the question answers or the story first. I try to get into the meaning of that poem or of the story, whatever. He was born 25th October. He was born as John Allen Smith Jr. His father's name or his grandfather's name must have been John Allen Smith, like my son's name. I had first named him. His first name is Ronin Pradhan Jr., my son's name. And after that I named him Roger Allen Neil Pradhan. So my again middle name has gone into it. My godfather's name has gone in. He was Reverend Father Alan Stephen from England. He was in Kolkata, so he had baptized me. He was my godfather. So it's like that. This name comes in through that. I'm just giving you an example. So John Allen Smith Jr., October 25th, 1914, January 1972, he died, 7th of Jan. His actual name was John Allen McAlpin Berryman. He was from McAlester, Oklahoma, born there. He was a major figure in the American poetry in the second half of the 20th century and is considered a key figure in the confessional school of poetry. His best known work is the Dream Songs. What is confessional poetry or confectionalism? It's a style of poetry that emerged in the United States during the late 1950s and early 1960s. It's classified as, postmodernism. Poetries go with that I thing, everything is me. Focusing on individual experiences. So unless you go through an experience of individuality, you will not be able to express. So that's what I said just now. If you don't face it, you won't know it, or you won't be able to express it. But you can imagine. Imagination can take you to have dinner with, what do you say? Brad Pitt. My imagination can take me to, what do you say? It takes me somewhere, quite a lot of places it takes me. My imagination yesterday took me to Svalbard in the Scandinavian Schengen countries, where there's only ice and the government does not allow you to stay, but Indians can go and stay as long as they want. You don't need a visa for that. But if you cross Oslo, you have to Sweden and Oslo, you have to have a visa for entering that country. But once you go to Svalbard, the municipality government, the mayor says as they have this separate government, state government. So the mayor says that if you don't have proper warm clothes, he'll not allow you to stay. You may have lot of money. So quite interesting place. So my imagination had taken me there yesterday. So that's not that true events, right? It's just imagination. His best known work is Dream Songs. It's a book of two poetries. The 77 Dream Songs, 1964, and his Toy, his Dream, his Rest, 1968, the best by the American poet Jory Berryman. According to Berryman's note to the Dream Songs, the volume combines 77 Dream Songs and his Toy, his Dream, his Rest, comprising books, so on and so forth. He was staying in Oklahoma, McAllister, as I said, where he was raised. Actually, he was raised by his parents when his father, John Smith. So his father's name is Smith, also John is there. So that's why Johnny, his father's name is given. A banker, and his mother, Martha, also known as Peggy, a school teacher, moved to Florida in 1926 in Clearwater, Florida, when Berryman was 11 years old. His father had shot and killed himself. His father shot and killed himself. Smith was jobless at that time, and he and Martha were filing for divorce. His mother and father were filing for divorce. Berryman was haunted by his father's death for the rest of his life and wrote about his struggle to come in terms with it in much of his poetry. The Dream Song 143, he wrote, "The mad drive to commit suicide wiped out my childhood. I put him down, while all the same on 40 years I loved him." Stashed in Oklahoma beside his brother Will. He also wrote about his father in that poem. "He only very early in the morning rose with his gun and went outdoors by my window and did what was needed. I cannot read the wretched mind so strong and so undone. I have always tried, I am trying to forgive. Whose frantic passage, when he could not live an instant longer in the summer dawn, left Henry to live on?" So he wrote about his father. So this person has got something inside him, that's why he speaks. Okay? He died 7 January 1972. That year only I was born, I guess. Maybe. Yes, 1972 I was born. Age 57. And he was in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Occupation was a poet. His alma mater was at Columbia University. 1942 to 1972. He was confessional poetry. Dream Songs was his notable. National Book Award of Pulitzer. Prize for Poetry, Bollingen Prize. His wife was Eileen Simpson. 1942 to 1956. Divorced. Another marriage, Annie Levine. 1956-1959. Divorced. Then the last one was Kate Donahue. This divorce thing, because there is a loss. You don't find that person inside you. Come back in the next video.